Hi, I'm Kawani, and welcome to my series where I go around to the businesses of Haverhill, Massachusetts, and I show you what we have to offer. Today I'm here at Bohemian Cove, which is located at 63 River Street in Haverhill, Massachusetts. It's super windy and there's a ton of traffic. That's why I'm kind of talking close in the mic. My first take wasn't so good. Um, anyway, this is a metaphysical shop where they offer crystals, sage, all your witchy items you could possibly need. And they offer an array of readings from mediumship readings to tarot card readings to channeled messages and even home cleansing services. Today I'm going to be sitting down and talking with the owner, Kristen, and she's actually going to give me a little reading, I think, to show you guys what you can expect. And then I'm going to interview her and get to know all about her and her business. And yeah, I'm excited. So let's go. So when you first walk in here, there's this little altar set up. She had some incense going and they smelled amazing. Just everything was so peaceful and tranquil in here, I swear. Next section, there was like hair products, bath and body products, some oils, just all sorts of like homemade goodies. There's a little bucket of rubber duckies for those my Jeep lovers and some plushies. Here in the center table, you have all sorts of just little crystals you can get. And then you have this candle section. So, some of your basic colored candles for spell work, and then some scented. I see some jewelry, a couple of wands. And then, there was like these little bags that had like a mixture of things in them. There's just so much stuff. All this handmade jewelry. Like, just everything was so beautiful. I can't even like stress that enough. Oh, yeah, we got some bracelets here. Just gorgeous. And then we have some bigger crystals in here. Look at that giant one. Beautiful. And then, some rings up at the top. Yeah, a lot of selenite. And then we got some incense and some sage and just all sorts of stuff. There's a whole book section here, which I thought was really cool. I like that a lot. I'm going to have to come back and look way more into those because I didn't get a chance to. But I'm very curious. I don't know what those are. Oh, some sage. Some more incense stuff. I like that Ouija board tray. And then there's a whole little section over here dedicated to Edgar Allan Poe. I actually had that book growing up and read it a million times. And then here, I think some herbs, like incense type stuff, and teas. Oh, yeah, so maybe they're all teas. Guys, there was so much stuff. I was trying to keep up. And here's where the magic happens. Let's go. All right, today I'm here with Kristen, and she's going to give me a little reading so you guys can kind of see how she works, what you can expect, etc.
Okay. All right. So the first thing I do in the reading is sometimes I'll go over what the crystals mean with people, but usually I don't lately unless they ask. But and the tarot readings are $35 for about 30 minutes. I usually don't do minutes. I use I do 3 cards and then maybe a 5-card spread afterwards.
Right.
But I do something a little bit different, which normally, and I've been to many readers, a lot of readers, they don't do meditations beforehand, and I like to do a meditation beforehand because it helps center us.
Yes.
People bring in energy from the street. This kind of just cleanses and washes away all the negative energy, and kind of brings us into a state of, like, I don't want to say hypnosis, but like relaxed state. So we're kind of in tune and we're vibing, and I can pick up the energy from the other person. It helps me.
I like
it helps
that.
them. Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start.
She guided me through a little white light meditation. I'm actually going to put some timestamps if you guys want to watch the reading and, get to know me a little bit more, just be a little nosy, definitely do that. Or if you just want to see like what a reading looks like, she walks through the whole process and everything. So it was very informative, and I definitely recommend listening, but you can skip ahead if you want.
Deep breath out, releasing, relaxing anything left over. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
I go to sleep.
Yeah, right. Very good. So it's different for everybody. It's generally the same meditation, but I just get guided to say different things maybe, but the general meditation is the same. It just might be worded differently for each person depending on how much I know what they know of chakras, auric fields, white light healing, that type of stuff. So now I want you to hold that crystal and I want you to think of a question that you want answered.
Oh gosh.
Just close your eyes and think of the question. You don't have to tell me what it is.
I have to rephrase my question because
Yep.
you're telling me not to ask what I was asking.
I'll then rephrase your question. Just know
like,
that.
Don't worry about that.
just know that you're gonna get a one word. You're gonna give me a one word topic of your question. So just think of it like that. Like, okay, I've got to ask this question. What's the one word topic I'm gonna give to her? All right. Now I can take that back from you when you're ready. All right, now what you're going to do is you're going to pick one card from each of the decks. You're not going to mix them back together again, but you can do whatever you want to each of the individual decks. Put one card here face down, one card here face down, one card here face down.
So any in the deck?
Yeah, any within each of the decks. So pretty sure I explained that fairly well. I'm doing it for years. Every time it comes out differently. I don't know. I'm like, I always say, does that make sense to you? Yeah, makes sense.
Sorry.
No, all right.
I don't know what you did to me. I'm like,
yeah, it's the healing energy.
Oh, no, I feel good. I feel drugged a little.
Yep, that's what happens usually in this space. All right. All right. So what I usually do is a general past, present, future reading. So right now, this is the start. This is the starting date. So what is the one word topic of your question?
Success.
Okay. So we have past, we have present, and we have future, but past, present, future isn't linear. It's all entwined. So I usually say this is like past. It could be way past, or it could be past into present. This could be now, moving forward, that type of thing. So Ace of Cups, it's feminine energy. It's a water element. I always ask my clients, are you familiar with tarot? And sometimes they say, oh yes, we read it all the time. I'm like, great, I don't have to explain the suits to you. Other people are like, no, we have no idea. So then I'm like explaining. Ace of Cups. Cups is a water element. Water is feminine energy, right? So the ace is the first in emotions, right? So this is about new emotions. This is the holy grail, right? When we look at this card, we think of the holy grail. So what I'm getting from this card, there's moon cycles here. Now, I don't just read the cards. And then when I start talking fast, by the way, and I'm not looking at the cards or I'm not looking at you and I'm starting to look away from you, that's how I'm channeling it. That's when I'm channeling energy. So just so you know, I might talk fast intuitively because things are coming, but then once I start, you'll know the difference if I start channeling messages. So Ace of Cups is the water element. It is the holy grail of the card. This is the all-seeing eye back here and the light shining at you. This is telling me you are very psychically gifted. They're showing me that there's the stuff that you've had in the past, like this has been going on for cycles, like for years and years and years. And I feel like what this is telling me is you've lived many lifetimes here on Earth. Yeah. So this is like over and over again. So you already know that. They're not even showing me family stuff. They're just like, nope, this is it. This is where she is. She's on her journey. Trauma work, there's some stuff that you haven't resolved yet. Is that true?
Probably.
Okay. Yeah. We can't resolve all of it, but what they're doing is they're showing me like, okay, there is a little bit more that you could probably tweak. Like they're showing me tweaking. They're like this. You got to tweak something. Right. You're still young. You're younger than me. I'm early to mid 30s. Yep. Okay. Early to mid 30s. So you're still, again, young. And they're showing me tweaking things. There's certain things you're going to tweak. You still have to tweak. Okay. So that's what they're saying here. They're like, you've got the gifts, but you got to tweak them. Okay. And you're supposed to, and this is where you're starting to tweak them. So they were like, I think this is and when I look at this card and the Holy Grail, it's almost like you were given this gift at birth. Okay. This is your Holy Grail. You're given this gift at birth. Now, what are you going to do with it? And so for whatever trauma you endured as a kid, and I don't feel like you had a lot of like a hugely traumatic childhood, but there's things that happened that, like, they're saying the word disturbed, for lack of a better term, disturbed you. Okay. But it was nothing that you couldn't overcome, and you have overcome it. So you're not sitting here with a victim mentality.
Right.
Like, a lot of people will sit here across from me and they'll be in that victim mentality mode. And I'm like, you need to not be in that mode. There's no way you're going to grow. There's no way you're going to move forward if you're not in that mode. Like, so what do we need to do to get you out of it? You need to stop thinking that this stuff happened to you. It happens for you.
Right. I always say everything that's happened to me, I believe, is so that I have this. It's given me the ability to deeply connect with everybody.
Yes, and that's the knowledge. You're being shown knowledge so that you know how to do it. And it's also lessons learned. So it's, if you keep repeating the same lesson, if you keep repeating the same pattern, you haven't learned the lesson. You're going to keep repeating the same pattern until you learn the lesson.
Right.
So the universe slaps you in the face. So keep going. You haven't learned it, right? So moving on. This is judgment. Now, judgment and justice, I always get confused, but this is the karma card. So it's the reap as you sow, as you reap, you shall sow card. So now you're like living in your karmic. You're right now. What this is saying to me is there may be some karmic moments here involved in the present moment. So you know you're gifted. You know you've done the trauma work. Now it's like, and I feel like this may be connected to twin flame energy because we were talking about that a little bit ago. But there's like a karmic situation right now going on. So I feel like whatever is going on with you, you're putting the good, you're getting the good. You're putting the good, you're getting the good, right? Yeah. But there's also, in terms of the twin flame dynamic stuff, there's karmic stuff that's coming through. So you're still doing your work. You're still building up your soul contract stuff. You're still releasing karma from other lifetimes, your past, things like that. Does that make sense to you at all?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that card. And remember, this is just the general reading. We haven't even gotten into the nitty gritty stuff. So let's see how much information has already come through. Queen of Swords, anytime somebody pulls these court cards, I always say this is the person that you are either meant to be, or your energy is now, or your energy is kind of being.
I just heard, Queen of Communication.
So I always like to read the definition in the book just because I don't like it's so out of my head. Like, I just want to.
No, and sometimes there's messages in there that are needed.
Yeah.
Specifically the way they're worded.
So the Queen of Swords, traditionally they were known, and it's really funny, a woman on her own, possibly had known suffering and been widowed, divorced, or long single, or someone childless, but not always. It's usually the personality traits that are the best indicator. Inner strength. So this may have been gained through the experience of personal suffering, again, going back. So there is perhaps an element of the traditional meaning still relevant. And I always tell my clients, because some men will pull the queen cards, and I'm like, just because it's a queen doesn't mean it's not feminine energy. It's like the dichotomy, spiritual energy, right?
Right.
Like, so we understand that it's not gender-based, it's not sex-based, it's energy-based.
Yes.
So this is someone who might be like, if you were to pull the King of Swords, I could say maybe you have a more masculine energy. Okay. So as a married person, which you're not, you said single mom. Like, gotta not tell me too much.
Divorced, actually.
But actually, okay. So yep. So this is an independent streak, right? You are independent. You may even have that sense of not needing to rely on a partner to feel emotionally fulfilled or be taken care of. You can be happy and contented in your own right, capable of taking care of your own affairs and not emotionally needy. Simply a strong and independent woman. I'll get to that in a minute, the downside of that in a minute. All right. Supportive, as long as she's on your side and believes you're in the right. Source of strength, will defend you boldly. Isn't afraid to speak their mind, usually is a ring of truth to what they have to say, which can be unnerving for those not ready to hear it. Extremely well organized and efficient. Excellent champion for just causes or organizations that require a certain toughness to support them. Work may be a good indicator of this, and she may find release for that expression in areas of law or caring environments which a strong leader that others can rely on is required. A head teacher, matron, even in executive positions where a woman may have strength to hold her own. Fast thinker, analytical mind finds her happy anywhere that challenges her keen mind or wit. Queen of Swords on a most basic level is the people's champions. She can also be a person of sharp words. In the negative, overly critical, intolerant, have the ability to cut people to shreds with her words. Betray her, you won't get a second chance. She's not someone to pick an argument with. Does that make sense to you at all? Is that you? That's totally you.
Totally me.
Yeah, totally you. So this here, I'm going to tell you what this is in reference to. And I know you said your question is about success, but we haven't actually answered the question itself yet.
Right.
But I still see there's twin flame thing going on here with the judgment. I feel like this is an all-encompassing.
His energy has been heavily in my aura,
so
like lately, in my field.
Yeah, so here's what I'm going to tell you about this specific in generalized reading. I feel like it's all entwined. So if you're talking about, and I haven't asked you the question yet, but if you're talking about success in terms of your business, remember twin flame energy is entwined in our business because twin flame energy is about lifting everybody up, right? It's about working together to create a better universe, to create a better earth. So it is encompassing. It is all encompassing. This is just letting you know you're an amazing, strong, independent person, but you have to remember to rely on, don't close out your heart. We've been hurt in the past. We've been broken. We need to put the pieces of ourselves back together. Part of the reason why there's so many misogynistic men out there right now is they don't know their place in the world.
Yeah.
Because we women have decided, oh, we're better than them. We can do it all. We don't need their help. Blah, 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 blah. And what happens? The men have no idea what they're supposed to do with themselves.
Yeah.
They're not chivalrous anymore. They don't want to. No, we don't need the door open for us. Like we have to allow that soft feminine energy to come through again.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
Be careful. So that's what this is. This is a warning card for you. Be careful when you're, and trust, right? So
what's
the actual question you have about success now?
I was just wondering if my current projects are going to be successful.
All right. So, well, we've got, you're on the right track. You're doing the good work, the karmic good work, right? So
and I think it was funny how we were talking about, you said I had an activist energy earlier, and that felt like it very much tied into that.
All right. So now I want you to pick 2 or 3 more. It depends. Pick 2 first, and then I'll see if anything sticks out at me. And if not, then I think you're going to pull 3. 2 at the same time. And do you feel a need to pick another one? Okay. All right. All right, I'm good. Sometimes they call, sometimes they don't.
I don't think I've ever picked out 2 at this together like that.
Yeah, sometimes I get stuck, or sometimes I'll see one that if somebody pulls one out and then there's another one behind it and pulls out with it, I take it. All right, so you have the Page of Pentacles, which again, this is Earth, this is stability, this is about financial success, things like that. Again, I'll read the book because it is a court card, so it could have either. I feel like this. Is your child a boy?
I have 3 boys.
3 boys. Yeah. Okay, so this has reference to one of your sons, I feel like maybe. I'm not sure yet. But it also could be an event that's happening too in terms of financial things happening. So we'll take a look at the book in a second. Then you pulled the Ace of Pentacles.
I like that.
And then you pulled all Pentacles.
Wow.
There you go. And you pulled the 6 of Pentacles. So you're talking about now, see how this works though. It's really interesting because at first we're just talking about success in general. So we go through this whole successful outline of your life. This is how you're successful, how you're coming up. This is this. Now you ask the question about your projects.
Yeah, which
is
with money.
Financial projects, clearly, obviously. Yep. So now let's see where this is going. All good things.
I don't know if you noticed too, because I actually don't usually pull cards that way. I used to when I first started reading tarot, but I get the energy off. That's what my hand twitches.
Yes. Okay, so I usually feel the tingles. Like if I'm going like this and I sense tingling, I'll feel like it's like the energy is coming after me. And I always pick with this hand. I don't know why. But anyway, okay, what are we? Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles. Or if it's a child, it would be an earth element. So anyone, in the earth realm of astrology, which I do not do except for the basics. Studious or academic who enjoys studying and learning, solid young person, methodical in his or her approach, hardworking, well-behaved, polite, self-disciplined, with love and respect for animals in the countryside, solid individual, not a party animal type. They're usually good with their hands or anything of a practical nature. Does that sound like anybody you know?
Yeah.
Okay. One of
yeah,
your
like one of my kids. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Or as an event, which could also be the thing, because depending on what the regular cards say, you should receive good news that will bring welcome changes into your life. This may have a financial or academic connection. So I feel very strongly that this is tied into one of your kids, that maybe there's going to be like a financial or academic connection there, but not always. And they're not really telling me anything. They're just like, well, maybe she may use them. Like you might use them for something, right? Like maybe an interview, or maybe I don't know how old your kids are, so it depends. That's a varied thing. But I feel like this is the good news coming in about your progress. Like, how are you doing? This whole thing that you're doing, this project. I think it is going to build up because this is your new venture, your new idea, right? This is something you just started. This is the Ace of Pentacles. New idea, new venture, new growth, new abundance, new security in terms of, um, stability in household items, material gains, prosperity, beginning of successful endeavors, right? Good financial reward. And then this is the apprenticeship card, or not the apprentice. This is the apprenticeship card. I never can remember if this one is the six. I think this is the giving card, I think. So this is the one where you're successful material gains and being in a position to how allows you to share with others. Yeah, the giving card. So you're giving, kind of
like the hands are.
Like the hands are the giving card. So this is about like giving to others, like sharing your knowledge, sharing your wisdom, and it's not just financial. Although if you get to that point and you start sharing financially, that's something too. But this doesn't even mean sharing financially and where you're giving out all the money, but you're donating. Like you go out and you spend money at small businesses, things like that. You're helping other people. So that's what this is. You're financially stable enough to be able to help others in your situation. Does that make sense to you at all?
That's all I want.
Yeah. So we all do. We all want to be able to do that. We just need the money. Come on in, universe. Bring it in. Bring it in.
For real.
Right? So that's the thing. So I feel very strong. Like you're on the right path. Like this whole story is just showing you, like, you got to use your gifts. I think using your gifts is really key here. So that's what makes you different than other, whatever it is, podcasters. I don't know what you call yourself, podcaster. That's what makes you different from other podcasters, is this idea that you have this ability to use your gifts for good, for changing the world. And how do you do that? Well, you're starting this great adventure. You're focusing on small businesses in the community. Those are helping other people expand and grow, and that's amazing. And that's what this is. You're actually sharing your knowledge with others so that we can get the financial abundance too. Yes. I almost feel like this can be switched around. So like you're giving of yourself and helping other people, and then we're all going to be successful and prosper. And that's because you're the Queen of Swords. You're but again, in twin flame dynamic, you want to be careful.
Right.
But this all ties in together. So what do you think?
Yeah. Oh, that was incredible.
So we do one last pull at the end of the session. And, I'll sit here for like an hour with people sometimes and just chat with them about their, where they're at, if they have any more questions, unless I have a line of customers, which doesn't always happen. And hopefully it will soon.
Not hopefully.
It will soon.
We're speaking into existence.
Exactly. So but there are days where like I'm here and somebody comes in for a reading, and the universe is just like, no, you need to spend 2 hours with this person. So I'm not going to have anybody walk in. And the store is its own entity. It really is its own space. It's its own sentient being, I really believe.
That's like, sometimes when I do readings for people, I'm called to use like 3 or 4 different decks. Yeah. And sometimes it's just one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've never had to do that. This is the only way. I just pull one deck from this Oracle Fortune to wrap it all up together. Usually I don't get called to do more than that. But see, the thing is what I've been told in the past is I don't need the cards.
Right. They're just a tool.
Yeah, they're just a tool, but I don't need, like, other people need to use them sometimes because it helps them or whatever.
Yeah, it helps me with because I have super ADHD. Yeah. It really helps me like focus.
Yep. And I don't necessarily beware. Be careful of who you trust at this time.
Yep.
So there's your summary, and I don't know if that helps you with the success story, but that's the whole, because usually what it'll do is it'll wrap up the whole, like, it'll really tie into everything else, but I don't know how this ties in. Is this something that you're aware of?
I think it's just telling me to be really like protective over my, like,
Yeah,
this is
we
my
were talking
project and
about
my
before.
energy,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
really just to be in this queen energy
Yes.
and strong and stand up for myself. And,
I agree with you. Yeah.
And not give in to, like, you know, my empathy, because actually I had a psychic tell me that was my biggest, like, not downfall, but like kind of my biggest blockage was my empathy.
Being too empathic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that happens a lot to us because we're so kind and caring and giving, and we just want to give, and we want to share. But then people take advantage of us. So we have to really be careful who we expend our energy to. And that's why the space, I'm telling you, like I said, this store will only allow people in it that are energetically attuned to it.
Yeah.
It is the weirdest thing. When I first started, there was a whole boatload of people that came in. And now as things are starting to change and the energy is growing and getting more strong, people have come and gone in my, like, I don't see people like as often as I used to, or certain people will come in. New people are finding me all the time, which is great.
Yeah.
Got people from Lawrence coming in, people from like Kingston. I
actually just met somebody yesterday at another small business that I was at, and she was looking for a metaphysical shop, and I was like, actually, tomorrow I'm going.
So that's the thing. And like, and I like to call myself like, you know, it's the little bit of Salem and Haverhill because of what I do. It's very intimate, it's very quiet, and it's away from the Salem of now, you know, where it's like, it's very, I love Salem. But it's very touristy, and it can get very expensive, and it can get very, you know, commercial, you know. So there are great stores. I love them. I love going to visit my shops down there. There's specific ones that I go to. But again, if you can't make it there, you don't want to go there because you don't travel far, then this is the place you can come to get a reading.
No, this is perfect.
Yeah.
And it really is like such a different energy as soon as you walk in.
Yeah.
Like I could sense it, you know, but I'm an energy reader, so I don't know. Other people might not notice.
But there are people that will walk in here and be like, I never knew you were here. From 3 years, you know, they've been driving back and forth.
3 years?
3 years.
I had no
3 years
idea.
I've been here. Yep. I signed the lease in 21, wasn't able to open until 22. So this is my 4th year, going into my 4th year now. So
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually saw Keegan Delivers post a few photos with you, and that's how I kind of like saw you first.
Yep.
Just recently. And then I saw you comment on my post. But I was like, oh, hey, I just saw her with Keegan.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. And then I have like a Facebook page, the Dancing Witch of Salem, or Dancing Witch of Haverhill. So I'll go outside in the nice weather, and I'll dance outside.
Oh my God, I want to come join you
sometime. Yeah, absolutely. I try to get people to come with me. Like,
I'll do it.
We do. We have to have it. Sometimes I'll dance inside if there's no customers and I'm bored. I'll just dance around, because dancing is actually an expression and release of energy.
Yeah.
And it's a really, and you know, they talk about,
and it releases oxytocin,
right? And there's
dopamine.
a lot. And they talk about dancing in the Bible as like being releasing of like, you know, like spiritual energy, and it gets all the like bad stuff out, and the juju and everything. So I don't quote me in the Bible thing. I'm not sure, because I wasn't a Bible thumper. But somewhere I thought that dancing was mentioned in the Bible. I know, I think back to the Footloose days and like how they didn't want you dancing because it was in the Bible as dancing was wrong. But then the Kevin Bacon, his character, finds at the end, he reads in the Bible how they did celebrate dancing. They did have dance. So dancing is a very important spiritual act. It helps release all the negative energy, and it releases tension and stress. So I'm always dancing outside. I'm waving to people, and I'm blowing bubbles. I'll dress like a fairy sometimes. Sometimes I'll have witchy garb on if it's October or September and it's nice. And I'll just dress, and that's
very synchronistic for me, because I've been getting a lot of messages to dance recently, and I have this certain oracle deck.
Do you want to take a photo of these? Are you going to remember them? I mean, that's up to you. Well, you can take them after. We'll leave them here, and you can take them after when you're all done.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll take a picture after.
Yeah. Just give me those, and I'll put them in here.
But I have the certain oracle deck too, and I've been pulling a card that says dance like a lot over and
do you
every time
remember
I do it.
that one that you saw? I pulled Nyx, and I'm pretty sure I pulled the Tarantella too, which is also
yes, yes, that's exactly.
That was a dance.
And I'm
that's
Italian.
A dance card. Oh yeah, see there you go. So yeah,
that's why I was like, no, this message was for me.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. I'm like, whoever's watching this, like, I don't know who it is.
No, I needed it. It was for me.
Yeah, but there you go. So that's your reading, and you know,
thank you so much.
You're
like
very
I said,
welcome.
I feel like so tranquil. Like
yeah, it's really a cool. I do like that's why I feel like the meditation really helps people, and they actually do like it because they're like, wow, that's really nice. Because some people come in here and their energy is just all over the place, and I can't do that. Like I can't read someone whose energy is all right. And I can't read it if I'm all over the place too. And a lot of times I am because I've come in and like there was one time I came in, my dad was in the hospital and like I was working and I had to do a reading and it was like right before he passed and I was all over the place energetically and I just had to like we're going to do a meditation, we're going to get into the zone, I'm going to do this, we're going to get the reading done and it went beautifully. And it's like so I can do it. You have to set aside the personal stuff sometimes to do the actual spiritual stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's hard and it's tough, but people, when they come in here, they have to understand this is a safe space. Like nothing, half the time if I'm channeling, I'm not going to remember anything anyway. So I always tell people just take pictures or take an audio recording or whatever. I'm not going to remember half of it. Sometimes I'll remember bits and pieces, and that's the stuff I'm into, so I can share with other people. Like, oh, I had a client come in the other day, and they told me this, or I did a mediumship reading, and then like I had this person's, brother come through, and it was amazing, and I didn't know how I knew these things because I still don't believe it.
Yeah, that's so fun. I'm like that too. I'm so skeptical all the time, but then like, I'm proven.
Well, that's
stuff
what
is like over and over again.
And the weird thing about it is that we're not clairvoyant. Like you say, you don't get images. You dream sometimes, right? But you
once
can't
in a while,
see really well.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, I don't get usually like visions like that. I'm clairaudient and clairsentient.
So I'm
mostly
clairsentient and claircognizant mostly, and I'm also clairaudient too because I hear the angel humming and I can feel. But then when I'm in the zone and I'm channeling, and I'm going to get better at trance channeling because I really want to open myself up to trance mediumship. I can like I'll say, for example, I'm seeing curly like Pippi Longstocking braids or something like, and I don't know if I'm seeing it, hearing it, feeling it. I don't know what it is. They're just I'm going like this, like I'm visualizing somehow, and I don't visualize in the sense that people visualize. It's very strange.
Well, that's how like telepathy works. Yeah. Like it's more of like a kind of feeling, but you also kind of know what it looks like or what you're like, but it's hard to describe.
It's really interesting because I took a mediumship class last spring with John Holland. It was at Circles of Wisdom. It was like a 2-day event. And he taught you how to do evidential mediumship, like ask the questions and think like, well, I've been doing mediumship for like a year and a half now. And they don't come to me with questions and like evidence a lot of the time. They're just like, we have a message to tell this person. And I'm like, okay, right off the bat, wow, like, oh my God. So I'm actually going to be doing, I'm sitting in on Tony Stockwell is a huge medium from Europe or England or something. And I don't know if he's connected with John Holland or not, but I've been finding his stuff all over YouTube. It's like, universe synchronicities.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And then I realized he was coming and he's doing like a whole weekend workshop on trance mediumship, but I don't have the money for it right now. So I'm like, I can't even do it. And I have a lot of things going on that weekend. So I was like, I can't even do that. But he's going to be there on a Friday night for an intimate event.
Oh.
So he's going to be channeling like a spirit guide. And I'm like, oh, I can swing this. This is going to be an early birthday gift for me. I'm going to sign up for this and I'll do it. And maybe that'll give me a chance to talk to him one-on-one more about how to go deeper. Because I've actually been listening to his YouTube videos about how to trance deeper.
Right.
And like, I really want to get into like full on trance mediumship because I was channeling an angel and I was channeling 2 different archangels one day when I was in a meditation with a friend of mine. She was guiding me through a meditation.
Yeah.
And it was just very bizarre. And I was like, wow, I can do this. Like, this is crazy nuts. Like, how am I going to get there? How am I going to do this? So I really want to try to get in more into that. But like the mediumship stuff is awesome. It's amazing. I don't know how it happens. I don't know.
I've only communicated with spirits a couple of times, and it's not for me just because I don't have enough grounding practices. I'm not grounded enough, and I don't I need to get better at that, but it just drains me like so much instantly. And then I'm like, chocolate.
Harry Potter, man.
Why don't I remember that from Harry Potter?
Okay, so third movie, Professor Lupin, when he's doing the oh God, why? No, it's not Wingardium Leviosa. We were just at the Harry Potter exhibition yesterday, and I'm trying to think.
How was that?
It was awesome. We'll talk about that. It's crazy now.
Talk about after.
I'll show you pictures. But like, I was the Patronus, when he does the Patronus, right? And Lupin's teaching him how to do the Patronus, and then he's like gets exhausted from using all that energy to put out the spell, and he's like, "Here, Harry, have a piece of chocolate. It really helps. It really helps." Cocoa is a grounding agent because it grows from that. You think about it, and it's dark. It's like it's black or brown, and so when you're working with chakras, brown stones are grounding, black stones are protection, are crystals. So it would, you come to the conclusion of all the different colored foods that you eat correlate with the different chakras. So chocolate is a grounding element.
I'm gonna have to try that. I'll experiment with that.
Yeah, dark chocolate. See if it works. Any kind of red fruit or vegetable too is a good grounding. So apples, strawberries, they're all good grounding foods to eat. Balance your chakras out.
Sorry, like I said, I'm like in a daze right now.
Yeah, me too. No, me too. It's what happens when the energy flows and we're connected, and it's really awesome. It's just like a natural high.
No, it really is. Yeah, I just wanted to maybe move into our interview section now and get to know about your business and all that.
Let's go talk. We can do that. We'll leave this here.
Oh,
that's good.
All right. Yeah. So I like to do a little icebreaker in the beginning, just a little fun thing, get us in the groove. And you know what? I think we kind of need it because we're both like.
Oh, yeah. Well, I brought a piece of chocolate, but then I thought I'm not going to eat it because it'll make my mouth all black and brown, and I'll eat it later.
So I just have a few 3 games that we're going to do, and you have to beat me 2 out of 3 games.
Beat you 2 out of 3 games? All right.
Are you competitive at all?
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. Okay.
They're silly.
Okay.
It's silly.
Oh, no.
All right. So first we'll do rock, paper, scissors.
I haven't done rock, paper, scissors in forever.
Paper, scissors, shoot. You win.
Paper. I'm like, I even knew how to do that. I couldn't remember the signs.
Oh my God.
Intuitively, I just went scissors.
It's in the name, rock, paper, scissors.
I know, but I don't remember what rock, paper. I never did that. I never played that game, ever.
You did it?
Twice, maybe twice. We used to do rock, paper, scissors, Spock.
Oh my God.
From Big Bang Theory. Spock. He's Spock.
Live long and prosper.
My fingers don't go that way. Anyway,
next game is a thumb war.
Okay.
Right,
I'm not good at thumb wars.
1. We'll do. Ready? Hold it like 1, 2, 3, 4. I declare a thumb war. And now.
You won. No.
1, 2, 3.
I've never played that game ever. Long time ago.
These are simple.
I know they're simple kid games.
All right,
last times. We never used to play those things.
Lastly, is just a staring contest.
Oh, okay.
All right.
All right, hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on.
I'll count to 3, and then we'll start. All right.
All right.
1, 2, 3. I blinked so fast on that one.
2 seconds.
Oh my God.
I'm very intimidating. That's what it is. It's like people can't.
Man. It was like instant. What is wrong with me?
I don't know. You want to try again?
No.
Okay.
I like to win fair and square, and I like to lose fair and square.
Well, it didn't seem very fair that you only had a 2-second blink.
Well, that's on me.
Well, I like to give people extra,
I appreciate it. It's all right. No, I don't like anybody letting me win or anything. Fine. I like to win, but don't let me win. You know?
I didn't let you win.
I know. No.
You just won because you couldn't hold a stare for 2 seconds, longer than 2 seconds.
Yeah, that's on me. Okay. So yeah, now we.
Way.
Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh, when I bought this, actually, I got this just like Kohl's years
Oh,
and years
cool.
and years
Yeah.
ago. But the lady almost was like, not gonna let me buy it because she's like, you don't ever buy opal for yourself. And I was like, what? She's like, no. She's like, that's the thing. You don't buy opal for yourself. And I'm like, well, I want it.
Yeah, buy it anyway.
So anyway, yeah, I just have some basic questions about your business and you and stuff. Easy. But so how long have you well, yeah, we talked about this earlier, but for the camera, how long have you been kind of in this industry, in this line of work, or like doing energetic work, spiritual work, whatever?
Okay, so I was a kid, like really little, and I was always felt like I was different and highly sensitive person, kid. You know, I started feeling the tingly stuff in the back of my head when I was like 6 years old, I think, for the first time. When I got, yeah, it was like, the first time I remember feeling it was when I was 6 and I was in my classroom, my first grade classroom. And the teacher had handed me back a test or something, paper, and I got an A on it. And I was like, oh, I got an A. And like, it's happening right now too, because I can remember the memory. And it was like this feeling like somebody was massaging my scalp. And I was like, oh, I got an A. Oh, I like that feeling. And I'm like, what is that feeling? You know, and I didn't know what it was back then. And then that kind of led me down the path of like, I always had questions, you know, like I was raised um, in an Armenian Apostolic Church, but I always felt like there was more out there than just one God. And just so this spiritual stuff, this energy stuff has always been in my blood, where I've always been questioning things, and I just knew things without knowing how I knew them, and just um, when my grandfather passed away, he was the first real person I experienced a death that I was close to, and that was in like 7th grade. I started talking to him randomly, like just
right, yeah,
just
people do,
like as a kid, I guess as a 7th grade kid, you would do that. You just talk to them like they're still there. But I kept talking to him and kept talking to him, even when I was in high school. Like I kept talking to him, like somehow I just knew he was around. I didn't know how I knew. I just felt like he was there. I mean, I would randomly talk to, like, I don't know if you ever remember Ryan White. Like there was a kid back in the 80s that was, he had gotten AIDS. He was a hemophiliac and he gotten AIDS from the transfusion.
I know, I haven't heard of him.
But he passed away, I don't know, like in the late 80s, early, I don't know when it was, but like I chatted with him sometimes and I didn't know if I was actually talking to a person. I thought I was going crazy, you know?
Right.
And then just you learn all these things spiritually. I was always into ghosts. I was always into vampires, always into witches. I mean, I dressed like a witch when I was a kid. And, it just, I always felt called to do something with someone. So when it really started happening was, even though I was collecting crystals at a young age, with, like you go to the museums and get the little crystal pencils and stuff.
Yep.
I never knew what to do with them, but I always felt called to collect them. But then like in 2009, I was like, oh, I'm going to start making my own jewelry. So I started doing Swarovski crystal jewelry and things like that. But then I was like, what if I didn't make Swarovski crystals? What if I used stones? And then I started researching how to make healing jewelry, and the crystals had purposes. I'm like, oh my gosh, really? Like, oh, you can do things like
right.
this is for love? Like, oh, mind blowing, right? Like, and they're like, no, that's not true. But then the more you research, the more you learn. And so I was on that journey, and that journey kind of was entangled with the like whole spiritual aspect of card reading. And I wasn't really into card reading or tarot, but then all of a sudden my grandmother, when she passed in 2009, I found out that she used to read Turkish coffee grinds at her bazaar at church, and I'm like, that's a thing. Like, I never knew that. Why didn't she tell me all this? But she had like the incense sensors and stuff. And my other aunt was a healer. She would know, like, you call her up. This was on my father's side. My mother's side was the grandmother. You would call her up and say, hey, Aunt Rose, like, how do I get rid of a sore throat naturally? And she would tell you. So I always had that. It was all around me, just that stuff was all around me. And it just led me down this path little by little. It was always like the breadcrumbs.
Yes.
So it's been a journey since I was a little girl, and it just led me to this, because I started with the jewelry making, then I started making more artsy crafty things for wands and just witch balls and things. And I went to paranormal conventions. That's how I started in New York. And it built up to where I had all this product and like, what am I going to do with it? Well, I want to open up a shop. But I didn't want to open up a shop in New York. I didn't like the energy there. Everybody I was talking to, psychics and mediums, were telling me come home to the beach. So I ended up coming back here, and that's how I ended up opening here. But that spiritual journey has been ever evolving throughout my whole life.
Right.
So it's just been this path you're
and
guided
it
on.
stays. You stay growing and learning, and there's just more and more. Like there's just so much to it that people don't.
There's so much, and I didn't even know. I still don't know how I do half the things I do. It's incredible. It's like I'm humbled, like that I have this. Like this, I'm nobody's special. Like why am I able to do all this? Like that's the cool thing.
Everybody's special, and you're special.
Well, I always say everybody's special, but it's like to me, I don't feel it. You know, like I don't know. It's weird.
So I guess we went over, why you decided to open your business, but when did you open?
So March of 2021 was when I signed the lease, March, April of 21, but there were some foundation issues. There were some things I had to tie up in New York, some stuff like that, some personal things. So I couldn't open until March of 22. So I went a whole year paying rent without being able to open. And I had saved money from COVID. I had a huge amount of savings that I was able to save up and use to pay the rent, but that was supposed to be my emergency fund.
Right.
And it got all eaten because of the whole, like, not being able to open for a whole year. And then product and getting everything set up. But the universe provides. I mean, I tell you, a lot of this stuff I was donated or I got for cheap. Like this was free from like Facebook Marketplace and stuff. Yep. So it really, it just 3 years now.
And you said the universe it provides. Like sometimes, a lot of the times, I don't know when I'm going to get something, like, or say like, I don't know when I'm going to get money and like I have bills coming up or whatever. Yep. I'll get money in the most random ways and exactly as much as I need.
As you need. Yeah, that used to happen to me. It doesn't happen so much now. I'm kind of wondering why. All right, come on. Like, but I do. I mean, but even with but that's on the personal side of things, right? Like the business side of things are picking up. They're thriving. Like I'm still here after 3 years. I almost lost my shop. In 2023. Yeah, in 2023 summer, because I had opened in 22, I went that whole year. I was able to pay the rent and everything. Then I started to fall behind because I was trying to pay all the bills. Now, I haven't taken out any loans or anything.
Wow.
So it's just been me doing all of this.
That says a lot.
It does, incredible. Right? Like I don't want to take out loans. Who wants to pay back loans? I don't want to do that. So for me, it's like, let's use the money that I have. So I was using personal money. Like I was taking out of my personal savings account to pay for the rent. But then I like ended up falling behind because I was trying to pay this bill and that bill and this bill and that bill and the rent bill all at the same time. And the rent got so far behind that I was like a couple thousand in debt. Mm-hmm. And they said they were going to close me up. And I was, afraid that I was going to foreclose. Not foreclose, but they were going to evict me.
Right.
But then I spoke with them. I talked to them. I ended up getting some money from some nice benefactors in my family. And, they helped me start fresh. So I was able to pay off all the back rent. And now all I focus on really is paying the rent. And if I have money to, push through for other bills, then I'll add but it's all about paying the rent. I'm not paying myself.
Right.
I'm not hiring anybody else. I can't afford that right now. So I'm still in the game because I'm smart about where the money goes. And that's what you have to do.
Hopefully now a lot of people will know about you because, like I said, like you said you've been here 3 years. I had no idea, literally no idea. Yep. I only had known about a shop kind of right outside of Haverhill, and that's it.
Yep.
I had no idea this was here.
Right. And like I said, people will walk in and they'll be like, we didn't even know you were here. We didn't know you existed. Like, oh my gosh, like 3 years we've been driving by this place. We don't know. And I always say the universe, it's almost like this space will call to them when they're ready and it will bring them in. Like, so it'll make itself known through the universe. Like, oh, all of a sudden there's an ad pops up in Lawrence Eagle Tribune. Who's that? I've never been there before. Right. Like, or like you will put out something, or I'll put out a thing on Facebook and 3 people will see it. But those 3 people were people that didn't even know I existed. It's weird. It's just really random. Pretty cool.
No, that's how I feel like I was. Like I've been kind of, actually every interview I've done so far has had weird like psychic and synchronicity like connections and stuff. So I definitely feel like this is also one that I was just drawn to and I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
You know.
Well, thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. What are your hopes and dreams for your business?
This is it here. This is it. I'm living the dream. I really am. I love this space. And I've thought about moving somewhere else,
it's so cozy.
It's cozy here. I would like to eventually maybe have another space where I can have a bigger tarot space. But you know what? This is where I feel
it doesn't feel like claustrophobic or anything. It feels cozy, like
that's
comfortable
what it is.
And homey. Yeah.
And for me, it's like I got to pick the paint color. Like I told them what I wanted and they did it, I don't know how long I'm going to be in this space. Right now, I'm in the space and I love this space. This is my space. This is my sanctuary. When I need a place to get away from home, I can come here and relax and just be in this space. There have been times where I've gotten no customers a whole day, but it's been, the universe is like, you need a day to chill. So go in the back room, put on your laptop, put a movie on, eat some popcorn and just chill out by yourself in your own space. And that's exactly what I need.
Yeah.
I'll take naps. I have a bed, I have a cot, like for my energy work, I have a cot, but you can just chill out and relax. And people come in here and they say they feel really comfortable here.
Yeah.
And so this is my dream. I'm living the dream. The goal though is to bring in steady influx of customers, steady influx of clients, steady influx of money, because I can't stay.
Unfortunately, we need money.
Universe, come on there, man. And it does. It really does provide me when I need it. I can see the change in from where I was in my mindset. I don't worry about it anymore. Like I used to worry, where's my, how am I going to make the rent this month? How am I going to make the rent this month? Now I'm just like, all right, universe, give me the rent for the month.
Yeah.
Just bring it in. And it was hard in February because for 2 weeks I was closed because I had lost my dad. Yeah. And then right after we buried him, I lost my aunt, like a day after, his sister just gone. Yeah. And so it was 2 weeks of, I don't have anyone to run the shop. So 2 weeks of me being closed, and that hurts financially.
Yeah.
But again, I reach out, I tell people, I'm not going to be open, or I'm running, my payments are going to be late, and they work with you.
Yeah.
They're okay, no problem.
Especially in those instances, they usually do.
Except for I changed my internet company, and I'm waiting for the router to get here, so I currently have no internet right now. But they do understand the thing is you have to ask that question. Would you help me? Don't be afraid to ask that. They're big conglomerates, we're small, tiny businesses. We're wanting to exist. And if something like that happens, it's not about sympathy, it's about empathy. Mm-hmm. Having this empathy for someone who took 2 weeks off because I lived with my dad, I live with my mom. The last 3 years I've spent really getting to know them as people and helping them and healing them and doing the things I need to do. And so when he left, it's a shock to all of us, but it hurts more, I think, when you are around them 24/7 and then you come home and they're not there. Yeah. And, I've lost a lot of people in my life. I have a really interesting connection with death. So it's not like, oh yeah, I know they're still around. Yeah, I do know he's still around. But physically, the presence isn't there anymore. There's no more hugs. There's no more voice. There's no more laughter. Sorry. But that's the thing. I mean, I can listen to his recordings and stuff like that, but it's like physically going there, it's hard. So it took me 2 weeks to get back into the mode of wanting to open the shop. And then I opened, and that first week I was open in March, it was quiet. And I was like, the rent's not there. So we really need to, I want to be able to know that I was able to pay the rent, but it was mid-March. April came around, I had more than enough plus some extra. So I'm like, oh thank God, but it's hard. You don't want to live like that.
Right.
You want to be able to, and it doesn't matter whatever scenario you're in, you don't want to live paycheck to paycheck. You don't want to live, day by day, wondering where the next rent payment's coming from. My shop is just doing it, but I don't worry about it. I just let it go. And I'm like, I know it's going to happen. You allow it to happen and it comes in and it flows. And the more you allow it to happen, the more the flow comes in.
Yep. The more you're still and in receiving
Yep.
energy and just focusing on taking care of yourself, like it all kind of flows.
Yeah, it does. And I know I can see a huge difference from when I was here, like along when I first opened. I was always like, oh, why am I not getting customers? And like, oh my God, it's almost closing. I have nobody, right? And now I'm just like, I'm at the mercy. Really, that's what it.
Yeah.
I'm at your mercy. If you're gonna bring me customers in, great. If you're not, great. But you got to remember, I'm a 3D person. I have to pay bills. So what are you gonna give me today?
Yeah.
And then if they don't, well, okay, whatever. Maybe tomorrow. Or this is what I needed today. Thank you for that. I am grateful, and always be grateful.
Yes, actually, I posted something about that just recently on my Facebook about how practicing gratitude is part of manifesting, and people don't really realize you have to be practicing.
You have to.
Both.
It has to be consistent.
Yeah.
Every morning you wake up and you say, I am grateful for this. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for this. Or even in the evening, like I leave the shop and I'm like, thank you, shop, for giving me this day, or thank you for the customers, or thank you for giving me a quiet day where I could get some work done or post things on Facebook or whatever. I'm always grateful for being here. So it's really cool.
I love
It's amazing.
that. If you could go back in time and change one thing or do something different, what would it be and why?
You know, I used to say nothing because everything is the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
I don't know.
I mean,
it's really hard to not have my dad here. You know, I'm okay with my aunt. She was 93, you know, God bless her. She lived a long, happy life, and she wanted to be with my dad. So
right.
that's not as much of a shock to me. But my dad, man, that still hurts. And
it's not been that long.
It's not. It's really not. It's only been 2 months, not even. And so for me to have more time, you know, it's all about time. I just kind of wish I would have. You know, you always say you don't want to regret, and you always say you wish. But I was like, for the first couple months that he got sick, I was the one, like, with my mom, taking care of him at home and making sure that he was taking his meds and eating and stuff. And then my brother took care of him at the hospital when we were, you know, he was advocating for him there because I couldn't really go all the time. So we were both doing our due diligence and our duties as kids. But I really wish, like, I feel like it was me. Like, I feel like I could have done something different. And I don't.
You gotta let that go.
I do, and I don't harp on it.
Yeah.
I don't sit there and I say I woulda, coulda, shoulda. I don't, because I know it was supposed to be exactly how it was meant to go down.
It's human to feel that, you know.
It's that human, that little human side of me that inks away saying, I just can't. It's a selfish thing. It really is, in a way, because it's like, you know, it's about you. It's not about them.
Right.
They're over there on the other side. They're living it up. They're partying. They're enjoying their life on the other side, because that's what I believe. But for us, the ones, it hurts us. And so it is a selfish reason. Like, I really do wish I had more time with him, but I wish I had more time with anybody. Who doesn't wish for that physical time? But if that's the one thing that I could go back and change, it would have been to, like, maybe have noticed some signs that I didn't notice that I should have probably noticed. And again, I'm not harping on it.
Right.
And I'm not saying I coulda, woulda, shoulda done differently.
No, it's so normal. Like, I've seen multiple, like, nurses talk about that with their parents. They're like, this is, like, literally the field I work in. How did I miss this?
Yeah, how do you miss a certain, and it's it was a small thing that I should have said, oh my God, why didn't I? Why couldn't I? And I just, because you don't think, when there's everything else, you know, when it's something big and it's everything else you're looking for, you miss the one little thing that could be, maybe have prevented something, or maybe have done something. You know, it's hard to explain, and I don't go into details about it all, but that's just the one thing that I would probably change.
What is the biggest challenge you think you've faced so far with your business?
The challenge is accepting that I'm doing this on my own, because I've had people come in and I've tried to get people, readers and things in here, and like the universe is like, nope, that one's out. This one's not going to happen. This one you can work with for a few months, and then she's going to go do her own thing, which is great. And I applaud all of them, right? Like, I'm so happy about that. But it's just like, I had to come to the realization that this is a one-woman show.
Yeah.
And there, because I see other women in business, and I see that they have husbands, or they have, you know, they have support systems, whether it's family or, and you know, like I said, I had financial support from family members in the past, but it's like, for the most part, I do this literally all on my own. This is me, all by myself, one woman show, doing the marketing on Facebook, going on Instagram, talking to customers, reading their energy, doing the tarot card readings. People really, I really truly don't think people, especially people that are close to me, understand really exactly what I do and how much I'm doing. How much I'm at home, like working on my days off, answering text messages from people who want to book appointments, or who just need to reach out and say, hey, are you open today? Or can you do this? I won't ignore that.
Being a business owner is like 24/7. It's so much work that I think people just don't even take the time to really understand.
They don't. And like, I have been told by somebody in my past that, you know, running a full-time business, it's 60 hours a week and this and that and the other thing. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. But it doesn't have to be that much time, and it's not work. Like this, none of this is work to me.
Right.
Because I love what I do. The only thing that's work to me is posting on social media. I hate that stuff. Like, I don't want to do that. But I do it because I know I have to.
Yeah.
But if I didn't have to, I wouldn't. So for me, it's like, I love my job. I love what I do. But I will disconnect when I need to. So the challenge is, when you ask me what the biggest challenge is, being a one-woman person, remembering that I have my personal needs too.
Yes.
And that it's not just about the business. Like yesterday, I have a son and his girlfriend. They came down from New York. I'm closed on Tuesdays. Usually I'm by appointment, but I shut my phone down all day and I kept it home yesterday because I wanted to disconnect completely.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have to look. I didn't want to have to look at text messages. I didn't want to get emails. I didn't want to check, you know, even personally, I didn't want to get anybody bothering me.
You want to be present.
Yeah, you want to be present in the moment. And for me, being present in this space is awesome. But a lot of times I'm not present enough out there. Mm-hmm. I mean, I will put my music on and I will listen to meditation music while I'm out in the woods and connecting with the universe and things like that, which is great. But a lot of times I'm out there at Winnikinny Park. I'm doing I'm here out at Winnikinny Park, you know? Yeah. And I'm still working because I'm still networking. And I don't want to do that all the time.
I know.
So it's really hard.
People don't realize how much actually goes into social media marketing.
Yeah.
Like, especially for a business, it's a lot of work.
It is.
It's a lot of just brand outreach. It's a lot of making sure you're staying in the algorithms consistently, and it's a lot. And
when I first started, I had a friend of mine that was actually doing it for me, and then she moved to South Carolina, and now we don't, she's not doing it. So I took over, and it's fine, like I said, because apparently, again, I'm supposed to do all of it by myself. And I think it's just the universe teaching me I have to accept that, to acknowledge that, yes, I can do it. I know I can do it. I can do it all on my own. I've been doing it all on my own.
Look at here you are.
Kind of getting tired of doing it on my own.
I feel that.
But I am doing it. So, me.
What would you say your favorite part of being a business owner is?
People I help. Yeah. I love people that walk into the store and they say, I need something. And I'll be sitting in the back over there, and sometimes I randomly channel messages for people. I don't know what's going to happen. It's surprising. And I am getting the chill. Yeah. I'm like, I love it so much. No, like literally, it is so fun to have someone walk in here and be like, and I know it's going to sound weird, but it's fun when they come in and go, I don't know what's happening in my life. I'm like, yes, let me help you.
Yeah.
Let me figure it out with you. And we'll do a reading, or I'll do a channeling, or maybe they're not ready for that. So I'll just talk to them. Like, I literally feel like I am a therapist and a media. Like I'm a witch. I'm a therapist. I'm everything.
Yeah.
And it's just, you don't know what I'm going to be on that day. I'm a teacher. therapist, medium, connection.
I relate to that a lot.
And I love it. I love when they come in. And that's why I'm like, come on in, people, come in. The days that I don't like the most, and it's not because of the lack of money, because I'll sit here, like yesterday I made $30. Somebody signed up for my one of my workshops yesterday.
Yeah.
So yay. But it's when I'm sitting here and I'm marketing is the time I hate the most, because I'm not that I hate it, but it's like I'm not helping anyone.
Right.
Like nobody's coming in my doors. I'm not socializing. I'm not talking. I'm not helping.
No, it's such a different like life that comes into you when you're like having that energetic exchange with somebody on an intimate, like personal level like that. Yeah.
Perfect example right here.
No, like actually, well, something, that I've noticed is like when I've watched these videos back is I've noticed me and my energy and how much I glow just connecting with people like that. Like there's an obvious difference.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like, I love it. Like,
well, and I think that's something that, and I don't know what your next question is, but to just elaborate on that again with the people, we had a year where we had to shut down and have no connection with each other.
Yeah.
And it was terrible. And I was like, for the Mother Earth, it was great. She got to vitalize her natural self, whatever. But for us, it was like, you only could see people on computer screens. And why? Like, I had to teach online for like years. And like, it became where I was like accepting of doing it. And it was okay for a while because it was like convenient for me to move here and be able to teach online while I was moving here, which was great and everything. And it was extra money. But then you start realizing people are not connecting anymore the way they used to.
Yeah.
We need physical contact. We need to be able to touch each other. We need to be able to experience each other's energies. We need to be able to hug. Hugs are the best medicine in the world.
Well, they say you need 8 to 10 a day just for maintenance.
20-second hugs. You have to hug someone. My friend Nicole and I were talking about this. She's amazing, by the way. She and I would, when she came in here, she's like, I'm counting a 20-second hug for you. Like when I had a breakdown after my dad died. And she came and she gave me a hug and she's like, I'm counting 20 seconds. Because 20 seconds is the time that the hug actually starts to work. It actually starts to heal you. If it's less than that, it won't do much. But it's because the intertwining of the energies. So it's 20 seconds that gives that energy time to mesh and that healing to kind of come into your zone and just make you feel better.
Right.
And it's just incredible. And people need to be around each other.
Yeah, I'm a firm, even though I am believe it or not, I'm quite the introvert. I'm quite the homebody.
Yep.
But still, like, I definitely know that I need, like, that intimate, like, one-on-one and, like, personal connections.
Yep.
Even if it's not, like, something every day or whatever, like, it's a human need.
Yeah.
People don't, like, I think people don't really think about that too much. Like, we need intimacy. We need touch. We need encouragement. We need attention.
Yep.
Like, those are all basic human needs.
Yep.
And, unfortunately, a lot of us don't get all of that now.
No, and it's because they're afraid. I think there's I think part of it is because they're afraid. They're afraid of connection. They're afraid of what could happen if they get too close to someone, or
I'm guilty of that.
They're afraid of, I'm so like, I've done so much work that it's just like, you can become a detached, like there's that lesson in spirituality where you want to become detached, but you want to become detached to the outcomes.
Yes.
And you want to become detached to the things. Like, you don't want to connect, like, because, there's hoarding and there's things like that where you're attached to all these things. I'm guilty of sentimental value, right?
Yeah.
But there has to be a moment where you have to detach yourself from, it's not about detaching yourself from the other person. It's about detaching yourself from the outcomes.
Yeah.
So knowing that we still can be connected without that, oh my God, if I touch this person, they're going to think that I'm in love with them. You know what I mean? Like, you have to have boundaries, but you have to be, I don't know what I'm trying to say exactly, but it's, you get what I'm trying to say?
I 1000%, because that's like lessons that I've gone through and stuff that the universe and spirit has taught me personally is to let go of outcomes and just enjoy the moment no matter, like something could end in a ball of flames, but like you are receiving love in that moment, and that's what matters. Like
it's being in the present.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter who you're with. If you're in the present moment with that person, that's all that matters. You know what I mean? So like this is the present moment. We're sharing energy, which is great.
Yeah, no, I definitely, I don't know, I think we're very in tune. What inspires you the most and keeps you motivated?
What inspires me the most and keeps me motivated? You know, that one I've never really thought of. I think because the people that come back and they say you helped me, like that keeps me motivated. And my own growth, like that's what inspires. And I'm not saying that in like a stuck up way, like but if I look at myself from like, I look, you go on memories on Facebook and you look back and and I'm looking and going, all the posts, the hell was it? You kind of look and see how much you've grown. The work that I have done, and I didn't come from a very traumatic childhood, but I've had a lot of things happen to me in my 50 years, right? I've gone through a lot of different experiences. I've had health issue scares. I've had, maybe my childhood was great, but then there was loss at a young age, or things like that. There's so many different things. My marriage was 30 years of ups and downs, so it wasn't a bad one, but it wasn't a great one. But I learned lessons from those things. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like my son and I are. He's an Aries. I'm a Taurus. I mean, there's no more you can say about that. We had our, and then all of the life lessons I've learned, but all of the educational things I've done, all the jobs I've worked at, all of these things have just made me who I am today. And I always say, when you're born to become the person you're meant to be. And I took that from Lord of the Rings, roundabout way, become who you were born to be.
I love that.
But there is truth to that, because you were born to be a specific person. You cannot be that person unless you go through your life. And you can't go through your life without learning these things and building up the character. You have to learn. We were talking earlier about how, people are they have victim mentalities because of what happened to them. It's not about what happened to you. It what happened for you look at how far. I'm saying this to everybody out there, anyone who's ever been traumatized by anything in their life. It doesn't matter how big or small. Look at how far you've come. If you're still here on this planet today, you're not a victim. Get out of that mentality. Literally,
you're a champion.
You are a thriver. I don't even say survivor, because that
I like that.
Ugh, I hate that word.
I like
Too
that.
many people use it. Thriver. You thrived. You came through. You battled back, and you became someone more than what you were, because they tried to hold you down or do things to you, and you're still succeeding today.
I love that. That's my old YouTube channel actually used to be Thriving and Surviving.
See that? Look at that, right?
That's funny.
So yeah. So mine is, I have a YouTube channel. I don't really post on it, but mine is Unapologetically Me, I think, or Authentically Me or something. I can't remember what it is.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, no, because I'll tell you straight to your face. I'm blunt.
Good. That's what we need.
Nice, but kind, but blunt. I don't like nice either.
What is your favorite service to provide? Like what type of reading maybe, or?
Oh man, there's so many of them.
You don't have a favorite, maybe like top 2 or 3?
Well, I love tarot because I'm really good at it, and I'm not tooting my own horn, but you just had a reading for me. So
and they'll see.
I try to be really humble in what I do, because I don't, I was given gifts and I use them. So for me to be given these gifts and not use them correctly is bad for the universe.
Yeah.
So I've got to be good at them. So I am good at what I do. And I'm not putting that on I'm not saying, oh yeah, I'm blabbing about how beautiful, wonderful I am, right? Doing them. But I'm proud of the work that I do with those, because they come so easily and I'm really getting really good at them. But I've been practicing for 11 years.
Yeah.
It's been 11 years or so, 2011, I think I bought my first tarot deck. That one I used back there.
Oh, wow.
2011. So 2011, 2026, that's how long I've been reading. But I started with practicing on family, friends, things, and I've just been, now. And I think that's one of my favorites because, like I said, I'm so good at it now because I'm used to doing it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like to me it's like a comfort thing almost, like a comfort practice.
Yeah,
Like
it kind of is.
right, like I just like I don't know, I feel like more at home with it, like
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Yeah, and the other one I do is mediumship and channeling because
Mm,
channeling is new. I just started channeling last year. I don't know how it happened. It just started all of a sudden. We were doing a meditation, and all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. I start channeling one archangel, the other archangel, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I like channeling two different people. And so, channeling energy, channeling, just giving, like sitting back there, and all of a sudden, I'll start getting messages from, and I have to tell people, like, oh, this was you in a past life. And I don't do past life readings, but sometimes I'll get messages that just boom, 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 boom. And
right.
that type of, and mediumship. That's that's that blows my mind every time I do a mediumship reading.
It I watch like a couple of mediums, because obviously there's fakes out there with
Oh yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah, like we know that, we're aware. Like, but
Believe
there
me.
are actual gifted people who are legitimate,
Yeah.
and yeah, every time I find somebody who's legitimate and I watch their videos, it's so incredibly moving. Like it's so
Yeah.
emotional. Like I bawl my eyes out, I think, every single one. Like
Yeah, and I don't remember a lot of the mediumship readings that I do, but I do remember a few. I remember one of my first ones that I did, and I remember a couple of others. And but there are details that come through that I would have no idea. I just met these people. I would
yeah.
have no idea. There was one random one that came in one time, and then um, it was like I literally I felt like I was watching a murder mystery movie. Like I was channeling information and giving information to this person whose connection had passed, but didn't pass the way they thought they had passed. I'm not giving
Oh, yeah.
details, but
I got a
I mean,
weird
goose,
chill.
right? Like, and I'm over here, and all I can say is this: I felt like I was standing. Not that I was literally standing outside my body, but I felt like I was watching this scene from one of those psychic murder mystery movies where they're saying to the client, nope, that's not how they died.
Yeah.
This is what I'm being seen. I'm being shown this. I'm being shown that. I mean, does any of this make sense to you? And they're over there going, yep. And we're laughing and it was incredible.
It's amazing.
Mind-blowingly incredible. And I don't know how I do it because I'm not a clairvoyant. You have mediums out there that can see.
Yeah.
Yep, boom, there's the dead person right in front of you. And they can see the hair color and the eye color and the shapes I can't do that.
Yeah.
Not right now. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the universe will give me another gift. I don't know. But as of this moment, I don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's not my gift. Maybe that's somebody else's
right,
gift.
or like you said, maybe like that's something you have to grow into,
or maybe I'm
and
not meant to see
it'll
it.
blossom later.
Yeah, I don't know. But for whatever reason, I don't have that. And so for me, it's like not a question of like if maybe it would be easier if I could, because then I'd be like, oh yeah, that's why I know how to do what I do. Like I can see that person very clearly in my mind or in my vision or in there, right there, like oh, some curly hair, blue eyes. Do you know this person? Oh yeah, that's my grandmother. Okay, great. But no, I don't.
Yeah,
that's not how I work. So it is mind blowing to me, mind boggling still.
It really is.
And that's
actually,
why it's one of my favorite
really all of these practices, like I said, like I'm a skeptic, but then even
me too.
Yeah, like
yeah, me too. I am a skeptic, healthy skeptic.
But I think that's kind of cool because then every reading that I do, or like everything that does happen, it's almost like I'm blown away each time.
Right.
It's like almost like a new, like, oh my god, wow, like
Yep.
every time.
Yeah, no, I agree.
What is a favorite memory with a client that you have?
Favorite memory with a client. Jeez, I have so many of them.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
It's funny because I don't remember a lot of my clients, like tarot clients, right? Like I remember customers that come in every now and again. I have some favorite people that keep coming back. Like Marcus was one. He just left. But I, there's so many people that go in that back room and get readings for me and then leave with like, you know, and that makes me feel really good. But to say one, I can't remember because I don't know. No, I'm drawing a blank. So
no,
it's I probably all of them.
The people
really.
the people that are gonna get it are gonna get it. Like, I understand.
Yeah, like well, you're one of them because you just got a reading back there. So there you go. But they know, and they're the ones that keep coming back, or they're the ones that have connected with me on a different level, or they're even the ones that have left really amazing reviews.
Yeah.
And those, you know, those are the connections and experiences that I have that people, you know, that I like. So they're my favorite.
What is your favorite part about Haverhill? Like, either just the city or the community?
Haverhill. So, funny story. I lived in Methuen my whole life up until I moved out of high school. And we never really came this way, to be honest. No, my parents, and we lived on the east side. I still live in the same house that I did when I was growing up.
That's like 10 minutes
and
away.
Like literally my shop is 10 minutes away from my house. But we never really ventured this way until the church up in Bradford, or not Bradford, that's where it is now, but the church up on where the Domino's is, that Armenian church that got knocked down, that so the church that we used to go to when I was a kid was Lawrence.
You're Armenian?
I'm Armenian.
I'm Armenian too.
Nice, way to go. See, there you go. So the Armenian church we used to go to in Lawrence was in a really bad location after a while, and they had to move. So our congregation moved over to Haverhill, to that church, and I can't remember the name of it. But we used to go there all the time. And so for me, I think one of the feelings I get of Haverhill is just going to that church before that one was knocked down and we moved to the one up on Boston Road, because that's where the new one is.
Okay.
And I do love that church. It's beautiful. It's brand new. But there was something about the sense of community that was in that old church up there on that hill, that we were out there doing Easter eggs and people would drive by, you know, during Easter. The kids would run around. And so I have a lot of good memories about that being up there.
Yeah.
I mean, I do remember vaguely the Haverhill Music Store that was here. But honestly, you know, that's really, until I moved here in this area, that was the only thing that stuck out. Now I think it's more about the community. The people in Haverhill are amazing. My brother lives in Haverhill, like right up the street. I have a person that I'm very connected to that lives further up from him. Can I just say Crystal Lake? I don't even think I knew that existed for years. And Winnikinny Park, like everybody knows, if you're watching this and you watch my Facebook, you know how much I love Winnikinny. That's my favorite. I love Winnikinny too. Crystal Lake. They're my two most favorite places to visit in Haverhill. And I never knew either one of them existed when I was a kid, because like I said, we didn't come here. Yeah. And to just see how big, and I never knew how big Haverhill was either. Huge. Yeah. We did some research. A friend of mine and I did some research a while back when we were driving through the highway, and I'm like, how many exits is here? Wonder how big Haverhill is. And it's like the 4th or 5th largest city in Massachusetts, I think. Yeah, it has to be up there. Yeah, it's huge. I mean, it is ridiculous. Even the Bradford side, like the whole thing is just bizarre. So yeah, those are my favorite things.
No, even still, like I've been here almost my entire life, and at, you know, almost 33 years old, I'm still like seeing new parts of it.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like I thought it was just this, like even River Street going further that way, I was always like, oh, I hate that area. It looks so you know. But then, you know, you get get to this area and they're making the district look nicer, and it's just so much prettier now.
Yeah, downtown is like really, really spruced up.
Yeah, they really have done. The only complaint I have is too many condos, but how many people haven't complained about that in Haverhill, right? Like, not enough road space to drive in. Like, too much traffic.
I agree.
You know? But you know, we can't do anything about that, so we just have to let those. But that means more customers for me. True. So, you know, gotta look at the positives.
Well, that was the end of my interview questions, but I have just some fun rapid fire questions to end with.
Yep, go ahead.
Just to wrap stuff up. Rapid fire.
All right, I'll try.
Hot or iced?
For coffee or tea?
Yeah.
See, you have to. Yeah, I am extremely specific.
Okay, coffee.
All right, coffee. Hot in winter, iced in summer.
Fall or winter?
Fall.
Spring or summer?
Both. Sorry, I can't answer.
Cats or dogs?
Both.
Morning or night?
Both. You can't do this with me. I'm telling you, again.
Dress up or dress down?
It depends.
Okay, both. Go in or go out?
Okay, wait, let me change that answer. Dress up most of the time.
Okay.
Okay, because I mean, if you're calling this dress up, like jeans and a t-shirt,
I would. See, dress down to me is like
sweats and dress up definitely. I like to get dressed up. Thank you, Dad, because Dad was always finely dressed. So I like, in skirts and things like that when I'm here. So, dress up.
Go out or order in?
Depends on my mood.
Coke or Pepsi?
Neither. I don't drink soda.
Sweet or sour?
Sweet. Definitely sweet.
Books or movies?
Both. Mostly movies lately, though, because I can't get into books. I just haven't been able to read.
Yeah, I haven't been able to lately either at all. Tent camping or RV camping?
I used to do tent camping. Probably now I would opt for RV, but I haven't been camping in a while. So.
All right. Well, that's all I have for you today.
I love those questions.
Thank you so much. Can you give me a hug?
Yeah.
20 seconds. Oh, yes, this was so good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Before we go, just if you want to plug your socials,
the different events and things.
The events
so we
coming
didn't talk
up
about events.
And your social media pages.
Social media pages. I'm on Facebook, Bohemian Cove, Haverhill, I think is the tag, but I'm not sure how they do that anymore. Instagram is at Boho Cove 63. So the Boho and then the Cove. I don't have a TikTok. She'll put it on TikTok, which is cool.
Yeah, I'll put the videos.
I do have a YouTube account, but if you go to my website, www.bohemiancove.com, all the socials are kind of like at the top. You can click on them, and everything you need to know is on my website, and I'm revamping it. So there's more information. There's stuff that's going to be changed. My workshops are all on the website as well. So we have walk-in stuff. We have tarot readings walk-in available. We have angel oracle readings walk-in available. We have mini energy information exchange stuff. So if you're not sure what things are, I'll kind of give you brief intros to things like chakra healing and energy channeling and things like that.
Yeah.
What else do I have? So
then your card.
The tea and tarot. Yeah, we have a mystic card exchange. That's on the Facebook page. You can look that up too on the website. It's about bringing in old decks of cards and recycling them, or we'll exchange them with somebody else who wants to try out a deck. We'll do that. We don't have any decks, so bring your decks, please. Bring your decks. And then we have events, all these different events coming up in April. We've got Tea and Tarot Night coming up on the Monday after the week after Easter. So the very last week of April, we have a Tea and Tarot social. So that's $25. And then we have a couple of groups. We're doing support groups. So there's a twin flame support group. We're doing a
I love that. Sorry, it sounds comical, but it's needed.
Yeah. If you have a twin flame, you know what we're talking about.
It's needed.
You need to come be supported. And then it's very informal. And then we have a spiritual soul support group. So if you just want to come and talk spiritual things in a safe space, we have that. In May, we're going to have, at the end of May, we're going to start a grief support group, because I've known a lot of people, including myself, who have lost a lot of people recently. And I thought a grief support, and it's not metaphysical by any means. We will talk spiritual stuff, but it's not anything woo-woo-ish. It's just, learning about grief and grieving and sharing our stories. And then we have a conversations about death. So learning, and that's before the grief group. So it's a day before. It's learning how to understand more about death in terms of what it is, how to embrace it rather than fear it. Because a lot of people are afraid of death.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get out of that fear of the unknown and kind of embrace the unknown now.
Yes.
So, and like I said, I've had a lot of experience with death. My dad was the youngest of 10 kids. We've got one left in the family out of all of them, 2, including my mom, who's the in-law, and so we've gone through a lot.
Wow.
So.
And then you can follow my pages. I'm at Kwani's World on both YouTube and TikTok, and then Kwani's World with a period in between the 2 words on Instagram. And yeah, so I think that's all.
Wayne's
Thank
World,
you.
Wayne's World. Excellent.
It's my world.